Well, here we are, Phil. Another day, another debate. And tonight it was the turn of the candidates standing in Onchan. Rob Collister, James Cherry, Michael Leather, Julie Edge and Peter Willis. A great turnout here at the Views in Onchan. I'm going to ask you, as I always do, what was your overview of what happened tonight?
I thought it was a really good debate, actually. I thought there were some great points made, some points that we've not heard yet, which again is quite surprising, because you'd think this far into the series of debates it would be difficult to find new answers, but there were some good answers, some new ideas. I enjoyed that. I mean, as ever, I'm always keen to understand a bit better exactly how these things are all going to happen, and we were a little bit light on some of that detail. But yeah, pretty good on the whole. I have done an assessment of all the candidates. Rob Collister, I felt strong voice, but a little bit government mouthpiecey. I think he has been a great representative for Onchan, but yeah, a bit too much trotting out the government line, I felt tonight. But still some good answers, and had some reasonably solid policies there. James Cherry describes himself as a young man with new ideas. Little bit light on substance, perhaps. Every problem, every bit of the debate that he said, well, this is a massive problem. Yeah, okay, massive problems, great. What are you going to do about them? Might have been more interested.
I suppose some people might argue that actually you don't know what you can do about anything until you get inside.
Yeah, but most people have got some ideas about how they're going to do it, and maybe
I'm playing
James,
devil's advocate.
Yeah,
here.
maybe James does have, but we just didn't hear a lot about that in the debate. Julie Edge, again, very polished answers, not afraid to be honest with her answers, because obviously she's had a lot to do with housing in her time in the Keys. And whereas the audience might have been a bit hostile to hearing some of the home truths that Julie was prepared to say, I think that went in her credit. Similarly, Rob Collister, when they were talking about tourism, did actually explain a little bit more about the detail. It wasn't just the government line. I thought that was quite good. Michael Leather seems primarily interested in the one thing, which is tourism and getting tourism back, which is great, and I think it would help. And we're referred frequently throughout the evening to his manifesto, so I'm sure the people of Onchan will be looking there to find out exactly how that works. And then Peter Willis, some really good, strong answers. I didn't necessarily agree with all his answers, and I think some of his answers perhaps wouldn't have borne a lot of scrutiny, but he did seem to have some fairly clear thoughts about how he was going to approach things were he elected. Certainly his strong point is basically the current system is incapable of delivering the changes that were being talked about, and until the system is changed, quite frankly, everyone's largely wasting his time. That seemed to be the thrust of his argument.
And something else Mr. Willis said, and this was said in one of the previous debates, was that there are too many members in Tynwald. He doesn't believe that there needs to be as many Keys members as there are currently. And I always wonder when people say that they are almost talking themselves out of a job potentially.
Yes, which is probably a positive thing if someone's standing for election with that view that perhaps they don't need their seat to be there in the future. That's quite positive. I'm always a bit hesitant talking too much about local government, obviously because of my other employment. But it's interesting that when you go to the towns, all the towns' representatives are in favour of getting rid of the small local authorities. There was one comment, I better not say who it was in case I got it. Oh no, yes it was Michael Leather. If the local authorities can become larger, they can become more efficient. I think anyone who actually scrutinises to any extent the local authority system on the island might struggle to actually prove that that is the case. In fact, if anything, it seems to be the opposite. But that's probably as much about local authorities as I ought to say for now.
Generally, you say the sitting members, which would have been in this case Rob Collister and Julie Edge, might have the advantage because they've got the past 5 years to talk about it and sort of defend the things that they've done. But would you say 3 strong contenders here in Onchan?
Well, no, I think possibly 4 strong contenders, but certainly the sitting candidates do have the advantage. They always have the advantage, and particularly I think Julie Edge and Rob Collister have both put in very strong performances looking after their constituents.
They've certainly been very vocal and very visible, haven't they?
Absolutely. So I think the rest of the candidates inevitably are up against it there. But no, there's certainly some possibilities here of upsets along the way, and it'll be interesting to see how it all works out on election night.